So hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is John from Flipping Ain't Easy. I actually just got a sale a few minutes ago, and I thought I would be slick and get the invoice out to them. I accepted an offer on an item I purchased over the weekend, and just trying to maximize my time. So I apologize for being a few minutes or a few seconds late. I always try to be right on cue when it comes to starting the live. So again, I apologize. Um, very, very interesting things. At least I'm finding out about my account, maybe about my year. And this weekend, I went to go visit family. So that's kind of why we didn't have the live stream on Friday. And I put out a video instead. So we went out. It's my oldest daughter and my son. It's their birthday. They're like a week apart, 6th of October, 13th of October, and we just went for the weekend out to California. And I had some downtime. There's like a kid's birthday party on Saturday that the guys weren't wanting to go to, and in fact, my son-in-law stayed back with the youngest, and I was like, well, there's nothing going on here on Saturday. So why don't I find myself a community yard sale? I looked at the yard sale app and I found one in Burbank, and I went to that one. It was overcast, drizzle, but I was determined to get there. And it's just a different animal out, at least in LA County, from any yard sales that I've been to. Looking at the yard sale app, nobody started before 8 a.m. So none of the yard sales I found were even thinking about having their stuff out before 8. Some even said 10:30, which I thought was ridiculous. But this community yard sale started at 8. They had like 40 different places within about a 2-mile radius going up and down the side streets. And as soon as 8 hit, and I didn't even know where I was at. I didn't have a map or anything right away. Someone later gave me one. So I didn't have any idea where I was at because it wasn't a gated community. So so I finally found a place. The lady was bringing her stuff out, and there's like cars that were parked and people just rushing, and people had their phones out. So I know I was dealing with other resellers, and I just knew this is going to be one of those cutthroat days. So found some stuff overall. Was out for about 2 hours, and made the most of my time. Spent about 150 to 200 bucks, and I think I've already made most of it back in just the few items that I found that I listed. So very happy with that. So that's kind of my update for the weekend. And we got back Sunday evening, and Jenna is awesome. She helped me with my shipping. Now, a lot of things to ship, so that's a good thing, right? And I'm going to tell you about that here in a little bit, because I followed some advice that I'm starting to think that kind of maybe wrecked my sales year. And I'm hoping that's the case, because I've switched a lot of my listings. I'm going to tell you guys, so maybe you can consider doing what I just did back on, I think it was Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday of last week. So we got about 45 people already on the live, so that's pretty awesome. Usually people roll in and we get over 100. So hopefully we could talk about the subject at hand, and that's eBay. Is eBay dead? And what I'm saying is the prospect of selling on eBay sort of gone? Is this something that maybe in a year or two is going to be, reselling is going to be just maybe a passing thing? There's a lot of things that make me wonder if that's the case. Like, I don't know if you heard, Nike is cracking down on resellers, and that's not a good thing. Now, I don't really know. I've read some articles. They don't really come out and say that, your everyday seller is who they're out to get. I think it's more of your larger sellers who are waiting, maybe having that backdoor deal with the store manager at like Foot Locker, or some of the other Nike, maybe Nike outlets or whatever. And I think it's immediately going to affect those folks more than it affects the smaller seller like you and I, because I think what's happening is a lot of people who are going to their stores and can't get the model of shoe they're looking for, because they're all being sold in large quantities out, like I said, out the back door, which is definitely not what Nike wants to be happening. So initially, I think that's going to be a problem, and I think that's going to hurt some of the larger sellers of the shoes. And we're talking new shoes. I don't necessarily think it's going to hurt sellers of used shoes very much because you're not competing directly with Nike if you're selling a used Nike pair of shoes. After a certain amount of time, and I don't know exactly how long Nike keeps a certain model of shoe in their store, but after they're out, they sort of move on to the next SKU. And I think that's where they lose interest. So something that might be new this year may not be a problem to sell, even in new condition next year. That's just my hunch. There's not a whole lot of information coming out about that. Now, would it surprise me if Nike started doing a lot of Veros under the guise of counterfeit? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at all. The article that I read today from Yahoo Finance, it came out 3 days ago, and Rockstar Flipper did a video on this. I think he put it out today. He did some interviews on Friday, but it was just kind of more of opinion pieces because the data really isn't out there, and Nike really isn't spelling it out. But according to this, earlier this year, Nike sued StockX for the idea that there's a lot of counterfeits on their site. And from what I understand, StockX is pretty difficult to get shoes by anyway. I watched a few videos on someone who tried to pass some really close Nike knockoffs through just to see if they could, and they got rejected each time. So again, I just think that's a tactic that larger manufacturers use, the whole idea of counterfeiting to tell Amazon, eBay, or whatever site that these folks are selling knockoff shoes when they're not. And they don't even, even if you have an invoice, a valid invoice, eBay doesn't want to get involved. They're like, reach out to Nike. Well, if Nike's determined that you're not selling their shoe, they don't care if you have an invoice, and they're not going to go back to eBay and say it's fine. They are really, really, really trying to crack down on the reselling of their new shoes. Now, I'm not going to pretend that we're dealing with just Nike here. Nike is the company that's doing this right now, but I'm sure that other brands are going to take notice and see how this works out. I wouldn't be surprised to see Adidas and other brands follow suit down the road, which can and will hurt the the community of sneaker reselling on eBay and other platforms. So want your opinion down below on that subject. Certainly there's a lot more qualified shoe sales men and women out there than me, but it's just something that, it's not limited to shoes. We're dealing with reselling merchandise, and there's a lot of companies out there who do deal with the Vero process and are going to take note on how this is being handled to the point where maybe it just is there, like we're saying, the new merchandise for now, but it may evolve into more than that. I just don't know. And I don't know the motivations behind this, other than they're trying to make sure that everyone, at least that's what they're saying, everyone has a crack at getting their shoes when they come into the store. And I don't know how complete that is. It might be a little bit more than that. The idea that, you're buying a pair of shoes for $200 from the outlet or, Foot Locker or whatever, and then you can flip it for $400 or $500. I'm sure that doesn't sit well with Nike at all. So I'm sure that's part of in their mind, their reasoning. But also just looking at the state of the economy and, just wondering, my sales, and I do a lot of experiments, but, my sales are down. And, we talked about this for quite some time. Someone had asked me to look up my stats, and I have looked up my stats. In fact, I did a scan for the entire year, and it's not good. My sales just aren't good, and I've known this. I didn't take the time to look at it, the bigger picture, but I've known since the beginning of the year that my sales were pretty much trash, if I'm being honest with you guys. And of course, we're dealing with, the sourcing. What are you sourcing? The quality of item that you source plays a huge role in this. But I also think that how you handle the eBay side of it also plays a very big role in no matter what you're selling. Now, there's a lot of you out there that will swear by, and I'll tell you this is going to be sort of, I think, I'm really convinced that there's something to this, guys. I don't just take one day of data and just say, hey, I fixed it. We're talking, there's no reason, and we could say it's Q4, but really, I don't think there's a lot of sellers. I've been looking at a lot of sellers commenting, saying that their sales are dead. There's no reason why, Tuesday I make a change on my account just to see what would happen. Wednesday, Thursday, those are really dead days for me normally. Things don't really happen until Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And here we go, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And even today, every day was over $300 in sales. And for me, as compared to 150 here, 100 there, maybe I get lucky and hit 200 there. My sales for the year are down like 25%. So what I'm going to tell you that I did may fly into the face of what a lot of you guys feel and believe, and that's fine. If I always put a caveat on what I'm telling you guys. If you are killing it and absolutely are so knee deep in sales that you can't even fathom the idea of getting any more sales, then don't even attempt to do anything I tell you here. But if you are looking for ideas, and I'm always looking for ideas, I'm looking for things to figure out how to get more sales. And if you're looking for more ideas, then listen up, because someone gave me advice last year. And it was about, I'd say, Octoberish, going into the heart of Q4. And I recall talking to you guys saying that, man, my carrier, she's very good at coming to the house, and she's coming earlier and earlier every day. And while I was trying to get items done, shipped the night before, I would have items that would sell overnight. And of course, I stay up late, and not so much recently, but up until about last year, I would stay up late. This is the way it is. I work my tail off, watch some TV at night, and I'd stay up late. Just the life of a reseller. And I think I'm not the only one out there that does that, but not so much anymore. But I regress. Staying up late, getting my shipping done, watching some TV, relaxing, getting up late, and doing some residual shipping, getting up 9 o'clock in the morning and having my shipping done by 10:30. But my carrier kept coming to the house like 10. And I'm like, oh, okay. I had same day shipping set on my listings, and it was just kind of becoming a burden for me. Now, fast forward to us being in this house. As you guys know, if I had a carrier that came at 10 a.m., I'd be doing jumping jacks and flips right now, because it would be the best thing I could actually have happen to me. I lose about 45 minutes a day going to the post office and dealing with that craziness and coming back here. So I decided, well, you know what? I was given advice last year to just do 1 day handling time, and it would relieve the pressure. If I got a sale at, say, 7 a.m., same day, I just put it out tomorrow if I couldn't get to it today. And it took a lot of pressure off of me. But I didn't realize, and I guess I should have looked closer, and that's just no excuses on my part. I should do better. I'm out here in front of you on a camera telling you guys how to resell, and at least trying to give you some insights. But my October sales were fairly decent. I think I had just shy of $10,000 in sales in October of last year. What I didn't realize was my sales fell off in November to about, and November should have been better than October, $8,200 in sales. December was, I'd say, about just shy of 8,000. And then January came. I was expecting to see some good sales. It just fell off from there, guys. And I tried everything. I've had a lot of you look at my last videos this year, and it was not all that good. Everything I tried, it may have helped, a day or two, I'd get a lot of sales, and then everything would just fall back off again, like a roller coaster ride, looking at my performance. The last week, $300 a day minimum since making this change Tuesday afternoon. I remember doing it, and I thought, what, let me try this. And that was changing my handling time the same day. And again, I didn't have the stress of trying to get my stuff out, because my carrier either comes at 7 p.m. or not at all. And of course, if she comes at 7 o'clock at night, I'm already taking my stuff to the post office before 5, because like today I was doing some errands, did a little grocery shopping, and I said, well, while I'm out, might as well just take my stuff now, because she's going to show up, and you ask her for anything, she's just going to act ignorant, like, I need some bags. I didn't have any bags, but you tell her you need some bags, and she's like, oh, I don't know what bags you're talking about, but her replacement can surely get them to me the next day. So that's the kind of service I'm dealing with, and it's sad because I take care of my carriers. It's just unfortunate that she's not wanting to find that out just off the shoot. So I know I can't rely on her. Hopeful that maybe she bids off and I get a new carrier, but that is what it is. But until then, I know I don't have to rush to get my stuff out. And I said, you know what? Let's see what happens if I change it to same day handling. So I went through, all you got to do is go into any listing really, and go in to edit your shipping policy and just change it to same day handling. Now that may not be in the cards for some of you. I understand. But if you're trying to find ways to boost your sales, and I'm not charging you $39.95 to give you this advice. This is the best that I have, guys. I see something that works for me. I'm not going to keep it to myself. I'm going to give it to you guys. And if maybe of the 114 that are watching me right now, if it helps two, maybe one person, then I'm glad that I gave it. And so for me, I think it's simple. It is one of those things where you have to decide, is it worth putting in a little extra effort, maybe getting your shipping done the night before and putting everything as same day. Now you can go into your business policies and set up Monday through Friday is what I do. Monday through Friday, if the order is placed by 9 a.m., then, and I used to have 11 a.m., I changed it to 9 a.m. The order is placed by 9 a.m., then I'm good, because it's going to come up in my feed anyway of items to ship. And it's going to tell me I need to ship it today. I'm happy to do that, because that's just going to be residual. I get most of my shipping done the night before anyway. Guys, I'm telling you, I'm getting cha-chings, and you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if I get a cha-ching during this live stream. I probably jinx myself, but honestly, I got one about, like I said, 5 minutes before the show. I bought a huge pet safe, and this is a bolo for you guys, and I shouldn't tell you this, but I'm going to tell you this. Found two in the last 2 community yard sales. People tend to buy these dog doors. They get them home, and they just don't do anything with them. They don't install them. I found 2 brand new in the package, one medium size, one large. They're pet safe dog doors. And I guess they have a little sensor that goes in the collar, and you put it wherever you're putting it, and it lets them in when they get close to the dog door. And those things go for like $200 on Amazon, brand new. Picked one up for $5. It was a medium size. And that one hasn't sold yet. I had that for like $70. And the other one I picked up for $20. And I wasn't trying to haggle. She wanted $20 for it. Looked at the comps, 150, anywhere from 100 to 150. I picked that thing up. Sold it just now before the live stream. Had it for 110, and I ended up settling for 85 plus calculated shipping, which will take it up to about 120. I think a lot of these people, the comps, had it for 150 free shipping, but I ain't trying to do free shipping on large items. So worked out for me. I'm happy. Same day flip is always good. And a lot of people look at those large dog doors in the box, brand new, and they'll just not even think twice. To me, that's something I have my eyes open for. I'm buying all day long, especially Pet Safe. It is probably one of the better pet brands out there that I've resold, and I usually get a lot of Pet Safe stuff in the pallets that I get. So that's my advice to you. Do what you wish with it and see what happens. I am very, very happy on one end that hopefully I figured it out. I'm trending. I'm not doing anything different, guys. I still am not doing a whole lot different, selling a lot of the same stuff. Still have a lot of stuff that I found at the yard sale I need to get listed, but I'm not doing anything special. And I'm getting some pretty good sales recently, and I did nothing different than just change that one thing, the handling time on my policy. And it makes sense. eBay wants you to get that thing in the mail as soon as possible to help increase the buyer experience. If you're a seller, I'm doing 3 days, 5 days, 4 days, 2 days, 1 day, even 1 day, I think, you're going to be behind those who offer free shipping, free returns. This is all the things that eBay wants. And of course, faster handling times. And I think, unfortunately, I listened to some advice, and hey, I love your guys' advice. And I sat on this advice, and it was totally out of mind. I just wonder if, we're all down in sales. A lot of us are down in sales this year. I just wonder if 25% would have been my number. 25% down in sales would have been my number if I would have just kept the course, stayed the course, dealt with that situation I had over there at the other house, and just got up earlier, whatever. And because usually when you transition, at least for me, transition through December, January is still a pretty good month. And it was just a lot of disappointment that January wasn't the month that I thought it was going to be. And I didn't put two and two together. And I only recently, just after trying all kinds of stuff, decided to do that. So your thoughts down below. And of course, if you enjoyed this content, if you enjoy, maybe learning vicariously through my failures and through my successes, certainly that's what this channel is all about. That's why I created it. And please hit that like button and subscribe. We'll have a lot of that kind of stuff as we go. So thank you to each and every one of you guys who not only show up for the live stream, do it consistently, and even show up earlier. Like Prosser Independent Trading was here early, so thank you for that. We have Callie Debs in the house, No One Design 2, Tiffany M. Law, Art Betzold, Sandra Hauer, Savage Pickers is in the house, Ricardo I, Wanda Greer, Disgruntled Octopus, Lori Eck, Chucky, Top the Flip. I mean, I can keep going on and on and on. And of course, we have Tommy Bernard in the house. So a lot of the same people. And I really, really appreciate the fact that you guys maybe have that notification bell set, and you're going to just throw me on whenever it's time. Usually 3 o'clock Mondays and Fridays, Pacific time, 6 o'clock Easterns when we have these things. So I want to thank each and every one of you guys for doing that and being here. So without you guys and your questions, your comments, this ain't much of a program. I think I rambled on a little longer than normal, but 20 minutes and I would have been done. So thank you. Let's see. Who do we have here? Prosser's in the house. No One Design 2, Tiffany M. Law. I want to give the names all over again, but I just want to acknowledge you guys for being here. No One Design says, is talking about the lister. I guess YouTube rolled out their new interface. It looks more like eBay new listing interface. Interesting. I haven't seen that. Maybe I just haven't done a lot of lives. I use StreamYard, and so for me, it looks the same. Let's see. Savage Pickers is cooking some food, some Italian sausage and pepper subs. That sounds good. Sounds good. I just went to the grocery store and bought a lot of stuff, so that's always fun. Ricardo says, greetings from Orange County, California. Just got a cha-ching when joining the live chat. Awesome. If you guys get a cha-ching while watching this, hit the like button to acknowledge you got a sale. So maybe that'll give me an extra couple likes throughout this video. Wanda says, glad you had some family time and safe trip. Yes, family time. And it was just very tiresome. And I got to tell you, I put a lot of that on me. I don't give myself rest. So I went to the yard sale, came back, sat around for a little bit. They weren't going to be back home. We weren't going to do the family thing until like 3 o'clock. We went to like a Halloween thing that evening, Saturday evening. And I said, well, I've got a couple hours. So I bought a bunch of these Elvis, about 17 Elvis plates with the COAs, Certificate of Authenticity. And the guy said, I'll do 40 for all 17. He had them like in an Elvis, one of those big popcorn tins. And he had it all padded up and everything. And I checked them out. They looked pretty good. I think all but one were good. One had like a crack, like a little chip in it. So 16 really good ones with COAs. And he had a pristine, I guess it's a program from Graceland from the 35th anniversary. I said, throw in the program and I'll do it. And he's like, sold. So I bought those and I said, you know what? Why don't I just list? So I went in and started doing photos from I opened up uh, my the trunk of my car and the flat area there, and I just started taking photos on a black surface. All the photos I needed had, enough sunlight, and went to the photo room app, converted those over, and you wouldn't know if where I took those photos at, and did a little work. And so I don't give myself rest. I'm constantly thinking and focused on eBay and how to make the most out of my time sometimes, when I think sometimes we need to take care of ourselves and just, live in the moment, and I may have been better off doing that, but that's just me, unfortunately. Prosser's birthday. So happy birthday, Prosser. A lot of family around. So have each one of them hit the like button and subscribe. I'd appreciate that. But happy birthday. Thank you for being here on your birthday. I mean, gee, that means a lot that you're even here, and you were here early on your birthday. So thank you for that. Disgruntled Octopus, Lori Eck, Gail Carlson, Chucky F. I'm sorry, I mean, you might be Chucky F, but you put Yep F. Danchina Donna, I had a Nike keychain pulled. Yeah, and I don't know if necessarily they're going to be focused on the other type of merchandise, and they might, but I just wouldn't go out right now and start buying large pallets of Nike stuff, as appealing as it can be. Now, maybe you want to hold on to it for a year. My thought is that we're dealing with SKUs, or I can't even say that word right, where you're dealing with the stuff that's currently in the store, and your direct competition with other stores and or people trying to buy those shoes or items. So I would be very leery of that. Would I avoid a good deal on a pair of used Nikes? Probably not. Not until now. Knowing my luck, the way they pull my stuff down, it would probably be a bad idea for me to buy anything Nike at all ever again, because they might come out and try to say that it's a Vero. If you've watched any of my previous videos, thankfully this week I haven't had any problems. So knock on particle board here, that will continue to be the case. Thrift Gorilla made it for the evening. The beginning of a live was actually early. How's it going? I'm happy with my sales. I mean, I'm not to the point where I'm content. I always 500 is where I want to be. I know a lot of that is on me and the quality of merchandise that I put up, but also doing the things that I need to do. My store is actually shrinking in size because I can't keep up with the number of sales. So that is actually a good thing. I can't complain. Top the Flip, just started to watch. Enjoy your chats. Awesome. Thanks for watching and hanging with us today. No One Designs says eBay is still alive and kicking. Sales over the weekend was awesome and on track, comparing my data from last year. And I guess maybe if I didn't make any changes, I would probably be a little bit more bullish on eBay. And again, I go over what I'm dealing with. I knew that I was losing sales, and I really figured a lot of it was the economy, and I still think that there is something to that. A lot of it is the economy. You have a lot of these brick and mortar stores that are closing down more and more. They're shutting their doors, they're downsizing, and it's because of reselling and or online purchases. And that's a lot of people go online to find that item. Now, in the past, they'd go to Walmart, they go to the mall, they go to Best Buy, and they wouldn't even consider going to the yard sale, right? Because they're looking for that new item. But now, because there's a lot of new stuff on eBay, and maybe they'll buy your used item after considering the price difference, but at least you're now in the picture as a reseller selling on any one of these sites. And I think that is definitely a positive. And I think the pandemic did a lot of stuff to buyers. It brought in a lot of new buyers, just online buyers as a whole, because they aren't leaving the house. They still have a need. And I think that behavior where they continually bought online, and I think that really kind of carried over. So now, instead of, well, let's go to the mall or let's go to Best Buy, their first inclination is now, let me just buy it online, because I've been doing that for the last 2 years. No One Design 2 says we call them fact checkers, not credible. And Eddie Estrada says sales are still slow, but my 50% off sale did bring in some sales. That'll do it. 50% off will give you, now it won't necessarily give you sales. It'll give you more views. People see, well, what is this guy selling here? What is so, why is he selling these at 50% off? So you'll get more traffic, you get more page views. And if the item presents a good enough value, then you'll convert the sale. Tommy wants you to know that reselling is officially dead. As of this moment, it is officially dead, and each of you should quit and go and get a job at KFC. Hopefully you guys get that message. But no, I don't think it's necessarily dead. I think it's the economy is just bad. I think it's bad. Let's see. Yes, No One Design agrees. There's a lot of help wanted signs, and I think it's time for everyone after the live stream. Wait till the live stream's over, but you need to go and get a job. And I won't be doing that. Sorry, I'm not answering to a boss ever again. So I'm going to find a way. I'm going to grind my tail off and find why I'm not making my sales. Hopefully I found a good chunk of why. I know my merchandise isn't the best. And once I solve that riddle, it's going to be sky's the limit, because I know in my mind, I think I know the ins and outs and what I need to do. And shame on me for not even thinking about my handling time. And it's hopefully now let's hope that my sales continue. Last thing I want to do is report to you guys that, my sales, just fell off. But I always want to share that information, and I'm excited to do it. And hopefully it helps somebody out there. Deborah J.K. says, I'm hoping it'll just apply to resellers that sell current models, certain SKUs. I think that's what's happening here. Peppa Seed 38 says 6 sales today, better than nothing. That's awesome. Think about, 6 sales today, and maybe you only average 2. So how do you get from 2 to 6? So you got 6 today. How do you keep that going? And it's finding different things, tweaking different settings within your listings. For me, the handling time, maybe you have too low of a promoted listing rate. And I know that the idea of, giving eBay more money doesn't set well with a lot of people out there. But the bottom line is, would you rather sit on merchandise and save 4% extra on your eBay fees, or get rid of it, make your money, make a little profit at least, and move on to the next stuff that you're going to be buying? I find the latter is the case for me. But each and every one of us needs to try to figure out, why did I get 6 sales a day when I normally don't? And keep doing what you did. And maybe you just got lucky. Take a look at your traffic, right? I think a lot of us look at, I got 6 sales a day. It was a great day, but you got the same amount of traffic. Try to increase your traffic. Those are all opportunities that you have for your item. Chucky says, no views, no watchers unless you give your item away. eBay is looking very dead. So Chucky, very curious. And, I think a lot of times I read on the forums that, sales are dead. And that gets my attention. And you look at some of these accounts and they're selling like DVDs. I have a secondary account. That account's dead. Now that's on the 1-day handling. Maybe it'll change something for me. I even have Blu-ray stuff, and there's nothing wrong with Blu-ray. Some are new. Some are like, you could tell it's been watched once. And I got a 40% coupon going on, and it's pretty dead. And I'm just trying to see. I use that account to try some extreme stuff, and I've got a 40% off coupon, and that ain't helping either. So what are you selling? And I think that's a big part of it. What is it that you're selling? I think a lot of times people are gravitating towards, this is what I need. Like, you know what? I need a new pair of shoes. I got holes in this pair of shoes. I'm going to go and buy me a new pair of shoes. They're going to go hit up Tommy at his store. I need some makeup, or I need some vitamins, or this, that, and the other thing. They're going to hit a health and beauty store. Okay. And I kind of hit on this a year ago, maybe even a year and a half ago, where it's still a market where we're dealing with needs over wants. Now the wants still have some play. If I go out and get a pallet of Sony headphones, I'm probably going to move them because they're in demand still. They're high quality, And I think that there's certainly a market for that. But if you're selling a lot of cheap stuff that maybe, I don't really necessarily need, it would be nice to have that new or that 30-year-old album or that, 50-year-old postcard that, you got it labeled as vintage and I've never seen before. And I'd like to have it. I think a lot of people are just saying, you know what, maybe next year or when I'll come back and see if it's still here, if I'm in a better position. I've had a lot of people hit me up like on Mercari saying, hey, can you hold this item for me? I'm getting paid in 2 weeks and it's already priced low. I tell them, no, I can't hold it, but check back with me. And that's the reality. There's a lot of people hurting right now. And I see it every day. And you just got to be in tune with your audience. Stop buying the want stuff if your want stuff ain't selling. Let me put it that way. King Singh says this year is the worst, and I agree. It hasn't been a good year. I'm hoping to finish off with a good Q4, and so far this last week is really promising. Thrift Gorilla says my sales are down to this last month or so overall compared to last year. It's also down. I haven't listed as much recently as I should, so this month's sales contribute to that, but not the latter. And like for instance, I went out and bought. You'd think I went out and bought all this Barbie stuff, brand new shelf pulls. We're 2 weeks in. I haven't sold a single one. So, done some research, and instead of letting it sit on eBay for a $5 profit margin, I'm going to ship it into Amazon FBA. I'm already gated for Barbie. I've been gated for Barbie for the longest time. I'm gonna ship it off. I think it's $3.80 per piece. I don't have to ship nothing other than the initial shipping to Amazon. Only thing I have to do is slap my little barcode label on each one. Set a price, set a value, how many items I'm shipping in, and monitor it. Avoid racing to the bottom. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that we make. And when we sell on Amazon or even on eBay, and just let the market take care of it. And I found one of these. This is one of the things that I have. I have like 4 different kinds. This particular set of Barbie, I cannot find anywhere. I cannot find this particular set of accessories on Amazon. I have not been able to find them on eBay. And when I do a lookup of the UPC number, I get like websites from like overseas. So I think this might be maybe a year or 2 old, this particular SKU. And when that happens, I can create my own listing on Amazon and set my price. So I probably will be into a little bit higher profit margin on these. So we'll see about that. And you guys know that I went on Wednesday to the Boss Seller Remix meetup, and I met up with, Chaz, met up with the bearded picker, and of course Carrie and Don were there. I met up with Mike Camparelli, awesome guy, fan of the show. Went to dinner, we walked around, and just talking to different people, getting different ideas. I was talking to the bearded picker, and he was telling me that definitely want to get your stuff in. If you are sending stuff into FBA, Amazon, if you want your stuff ready for sale for Black Friday, they have to be in by the 1st of November. And I think by the middle part of November, if you want your stuff even sellable for Christmas. So those of you who do Amazon FBA, I used to do it once upon a time and I got away from it. But, I'm sitting on so many of these items and I don't want to be bothered with these little things sitting in my eBay store, not getting a lot of traction. Maybe I'm just expecting things to happen a little too soon. But honestly, getting these out tomorrow to Amazon, and I'm going to lower the value of my store a little bit. And that's okay. I want to get these out so that I know that they're going to sell. And I think Amazon is like 10 times the traffic that eBay has. So that's going to be the best way, I think, for me to move this stuff and make maybe 2x, 3x on my money. Who else do we have here? Hopefully we can get some good questions for you guys. Prosper says, maybe what you was sourcing a year or 2 ago is different from what you're sourcing this year. Not so much. I was getting a lot of those Amazon mystery boxes, like the 20 box pallets. And I got to tell you, even I remember last year saying, man, this stuff isn't even good compared to the year before. 2021 pallets were worse than 2020 pallets. And 2020 pallets were a lot worse than 2019 pallets. It's been getting worse every year, but it's still a lot of the same thing. My average sale price, I think, on a lot of those items I get in those pallets was like 20 to 30 bucks. I'm looking here, my average sale price is down by 16% over last year. And that's a big part of the problem. Like I'm getting 600 sales plus in a 90-day period, which is about 200 per month. Even right now, August, September, October, over 600 sales in a 3-month period. In the past, I'd be fine. But my average sale price, because of the stuff I'm finding in these pallets, it's not as good. So part of it, it's just getting worse every year. It's getting harder for resellers every year to find stuff that's going to make a higher ASP, average sale price profit. I think the sales are still there, but man, you got to get more items sold. If I'm going to sell at this price point, I need to get a lot more than 600 items in 3 months sold to get where I need to be. Let's see. Top of the flip. Sales are doing very good, but sourcing gets more difficult compared to last year. So, and I think it's going to be that way for a while. You can blame a lot of bin stores for that issue. That's one of those things that about a year and a half ago, bin stores became a thing and started eating up a lot of the same Amazon Smalls merchandise. A lot of those pallets that had the small things. You could go out to local liquidators right now and find a lot of liquidation pallets, but who wants to deal with 50, 100, 150 pound items when they're selling on eBay? I don't. Biff Boffo says I'm down 2% of the year. Then that's not bad, considering that, with everything going on in the economy, that's really not bad. So if you're down only under 10%, I really think that you just need to keep doing what you're doing. Ride the wave. Let's hope the wave doesn't get bigger with this whole economy thing. My fear is that between now, we have like in the next 3 weeks, things aren't going to be as bad as they might be after the election. And I don't want to get political. Please don't put political stuff here. I'm neither Democrat or Republican. I've never been. I think both parties are the problem in the bigger picture of things. And that's why I've never been on either side. But I do think, and I'm not blind, and I hope that you guys aren't either, to know that what happens in the economy affects each and every one of you guys who are reselling. And it's going to get in every economics channel that I've looked at over the last few weeks has said that it's going to get worse before it gets better. So hang on. If you're still selling, if you're still reselling, stay the course. Tommy would have you go to KFC. And they make good chicken there, so you can get some pretty good discounts and stuff off of meals and stuff. So certainly go check out KFC if you don't have the stomach for adversity. And I've been hanging on. I don't wish to go and work for anyone else again. So I'm going to do everything to make this thing work. And if you're in that boat too, just keep doing what you can. Don't be afraid to make changes to your account. Try stuff that's new. Don't get into the habit of, I'm going to keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, which is the definition of insanity. Do what you can. Now, if you're like a lot of these big sellers that are just killing it, don't change a thing. Don't listen to a thing I'm telling you. Do everything you're doing because that's working for you. But I only bring you guys information that I've tried out that's working for me because I want to help someone out there. Chucky says, never do eBay full time. And you know what? For some of us, I guess I can go get a job. I have some pretty good credentials. I have a lot of awards that I've won at my last company. I guess I have a pretty good resume. But the really good jobs, there's companies that are downsizing right now. The really good jobs are just not out there. Any one of us can go right now and probably work for In-N-Out Burger or Chick-fil-A or you name it, make $20 in an hour. But you know what? I flipped fries back in high school, and my fry flipping days are over with. I can't even speak English today. I apologize. Rebecca Russell says, wow, good for you. This weekend was the worst I've had in a really long time. 6 orders total, which is not good. That's not good. No. So what are you selling? Let's get to the core of maybe the issue here. What are you selling? Let's start there. So if you can comment, I know I'm way behind you guys in the comments, and I apologize. I'm gonna try to speed up and get more questions, but I'm curious if your sales are slow. Share with us, what is it you're selling? Because see, look, I'm not trying to shame anyone, but I want to get down to the bottom of why this is happening. So is it that your no refund policy is holding you back? Is it your other, detrimental policies that you have in place that if you just got in line with what eBay wants you to do, would that solve the problem? Or are you just really selling stuff that you're in denial about? I can tell you right now, look, I sell crap, but my crap sells. And I'm utilizing the eBay system. If I could sell my crap, you could sell your crap. But it gets to a point where if your crap meter is too high, then it don't matter what you do. You can have a 50% sale, like a mother store, 40% sale, and your crap ain't moving. Okay. So let's get to the bottom of what it is that you're selling if your store is slow. So put that in the comments, and I'm going to try to get there here while we have some time. Sandra says sales have been great from Friday to Monday morning, but Tuesday through Thursday is sluggish. So I'm hopeful. Let's keep this thing going. That I can keep. I still have pretty decent stuff in my store. As far as one would think, as bad as I'm talking about my store, all I have are $5-10 items. I have a good range of good price range. There's just some items that have been sitting in my store for months that are just now starting to sell, and I don't even understand why. To top the flip, sourcing getting more difficult compared to last year. I agree 100%. Let's see. Processes, don't forget, lockdown played a big part in sales compared to now. They did in a positive way, but I think that there is, even though all these buyers that we've now conditioned to buy online rather than go to the store, money is still an issue. I would love to see what these buyers would look like if they had maybe give them another round of stimulus. See what that looks like. But that hasn't happened in a while. People are running out of money. And if there was another round of stimulus, a big round of stimulus like there was in, was it 2020, man, sales would be off the chart. I just tell you that right now. Ping G says, right, when pandemic was here, my source of inventory closed down, sales were dismal. I had that problem. They changed the rules. We were closing down, everything closed down, and I had to rely on a lot of the stuff I was sitting on to keep listing. Tommy says, it's our livelihood. Nothing that makes us money is stressful. And that's awesome. That's an awesome place to be. If you could say that, you know what, I get up in the morning, I do everything that I've always done, and the cash just rolls in. That is an awesome place to be. And Tommy, I just want to be like you when I grow up. No Agenda 77. 2 years ago, I was killing it. Of course, sourcing was better, but also the online market was hot. Things will pick up as soon as that cold snap hits, and a big one is coming for the East Coast shortly. Yeah, I'd like to think that people are, the people that still go out to the stores are going to say, you know what, I ain't going out in this. A lot of any of you guys do the gig apps, like Uber Eats, and maybe supplement your income that way. I can tell you that it's a thing. When the rain starts coming, people stay at home and they order out. So I think it's that mentality. Rebecca Russell says, unfortunately, I still have to work another job, which makes same day handling not a go for me. I get it. It does make it difficult. No One Design says, if you run your reselling business as an actual business, then you should know in the market of buying and selling is very volatile. Nothing is the same today from yesterday, and you got to adjust. And for those of us who want or wish for the days that 20 years ago, eBay Wild Wild West was a lot with less restrictions and less policies. A lot of us long for those days. Those days are never coming back, and we just have to play eBay's game. Otherwise, you're gonna stumble, and some of us are gonna fail. Dan Frisco says sales aren't dead, so to speak. Traffic is just highly manipulated. Traffic is throttled, and the somewhat hidden selling eBay limits. Cross list is the best way to get seen by more people. I agree with that. You were talking over 200 items in about a 3-month period just on Mercari. That I'm telling you, that stuff, a lot of that stuff has just been sitting in my eBay store, and I put it out on Mercari. And we're talking bad photos on Mercari because for whatever reason, a lot of the photos don't, if you try to take the same photos you have on eBay and port them over to Mercari, in a lot of cases, they come out blown up and it's hard to really see the item. And I'm still selling those, right? Got to get your items out on other platforms. I use Prime Lister, links down below. If you want to check it out, go get a 2-week trial and see if it works for you, if the idea of even get your stuff over. No credit card, that type of thing. But like to put it out there because, yes, it does help the channel a little bit. But I can tell you from experience, we're just putting our stuff on Poshmark right now. I have Jenna helping me with that because she has a lot more experience with dealing with Poshmark, and did sell a couple pairs of those shoes on Poshmark. So, I've like down to 320 pairs now. And I'm thinking that, hey, give it a few weeks and I'll have my cost of goods covered, $160. And that's what, 20 pairs after it's all said and done. So I'm on the road to 20 pairs, and it's going to be a free roll after that. So we'll see how that goes. Thomas says, want to see the future of your business? Look at your next 20 items you're about to list. Look at the dollar amount, sell-through rate, and profit, then think about it. That does tie into it, the value you're putting into your store. So if you're thinking, you know what, I'm just going to list these $5 items and I'm going to list 5 of them, and someone said that I can list 5 a day and I'm good, you might want to think about that because you're only putting $25 into your store. If your goal is to sell $200, $300, $400, $500 or more, you need to be putting a lot more value, dollar value, into your store. So whether that's 1 item, whether that's 100 items, it's the value, the dollar value you're putting into your store that is what you should shoot for, not the number of listings. Yes, I know the algorithm will look at your listing habits, right? So no one's saying just list one $500 item a day and you're going to be good. I mean, it might be fine if that's what you want, but if you want more than that, you need to do more work than just the minimum. I think a lot of people come into this gig of online reselling and they think of their old job and they think, oh, this is going to be a cakewalk, right? But if you take that mentality that you're just going to do the bare minimum and you're going to kill it, well, you're losing a lot of opportunity. It's still work. And any successful reseller will tell you that you can't just do a 1-hour deal every day where you're listing only for an hour and expect to kill it. It don't work that way. No more whining about spilt milk because it doesn't make you money. It's time to adjust and forecast. I agree. Or get a job either way at KFC or Popeyes or any place like that. I like fried chicken. 114 watching, actually 140 watching. So please hit that like button if you enjoy this content. Maybe you're out in your garage, your work area, you're working, you're shipping, you're listing, whatever. Please hit that like button. That's really all I ask. Aunt White says, I can sell a paintball gun on eBay, but not Mercari. I wonder if it's worth deleting and listing on Mercari like on eBay. So you're saying that there's restrictions on Mercari that's preventing you from listing that same paintball gun? Curious about that. But if it has enough value and maybe the listing that's porting over it doesn't look too good. Sorry about that. Doesn't look too good. Then certainly start from scratch and see if that works. But get your items up, no matter how you do it. Don't even use a third-party lister. I only suggest it because I wouldn't do it without it. It's just a lot of work. But if you just refuse to, even use a 2-week trial to try it out or try any of these listing programs, do it manually. Get your items up, at least your top goods, the top value stuff in your store. Have used Mercari, but selling price point is much lower. Yes. So I've told people that Mercari is my clearance aisle. Okay. Items in my eBay store will not see the Mercari light of day until 30 days is expired. When I'm doing the sell similar game that I play every day, and those items that have been on eBay for 30 days will then be introduced to Mercari at a lower price point. But as long as I'm getting back what I put into the item plus X amount of dollars more, then I'm happy, right? Maybe my aspiration was to take that $5 item that I bought and turn it into 30, right? But eBay isn't playing that game. Maybe the market's not there, even though there's comps. Maybe the market's just not there, and my item hasn't sold. Well, it's time to get that into a new set of eyes. Maybe I'm only able to get 15 plus the cost of shipping. But as long as you're making something, move it. Learn from experience not to buy it again, and rinse, lather, repeat, and just keep doing that, if that makes sense. Let's see. Ozzy B. Morales says, please get the likes up. I'm sorry, but this man doesn't have to help us. I don't have to, but honestly, I enjoy it. I've always enjoyed it. It's like I said to those of you who watched my videos for the longest time, helping people is what I used to do. Ran training department, did training, traveled to train, trained my own employees that I had in my department. And it was certainly something that I look forward to every day. It got me up, got me into work, and it something that after the first year of doing this full time, it was a void that this YouTube channel has allowed me to fill. And I was enjoying the videos even before this channel was monetized. I just enjoyed doing it. Sandra Hauer says, I made a huge mistake 2 months ago and lost my top seller. I also didn't realize until it was too late to explain it was a human mistake. Made 2 calls about it. Should I just be pesty and see if, and I'm assuming that I don't see the rest of your comment. My thing is, your number one priority on eBay or any platform for that matter is to protect your account. Now, understand that by the time you get to eBay for Business and you get the answer, which is probably going to be no, here's what you need to do better. They're probably going to give you maybe recommendations as to what you can do differently next time. But you need to understand that your account health is the number one priority. And so maybe you need to have an inventory system. Maybe you had an out of stock. Maybe you had some issues that caused too many defects on your account. Maybe your customer service wasn't very fast. Maybe you allowed return requests to time out, right? These are all things that you have to avoid, and you have to make it your priority. So you're going to get past it. If you make those changes, you're going to get the top seller rating back. It's going to take you maybe 90 days for that to happen. If you have good stats, if you're doing the same thing that you've been doing the whole time, it's not going to make a difference. You got to go back and evaluate, what did I do wrong here? What did I screw up? And make it a point not to do that again. And just maybe set a reminder every day. Put a little Post-it note on your computer. Check everything. I go into the summary tab on my Seller Hub, and I do everything that eBay's asking me to do. I don't ignore it. I get on it. Check my messages. That's another thing I do first thing in the morning. See what eBay's pulled down, right? Check any customer requests and things like that. And I handle those things first. Those things are a priority to me. And you just gotta, a lot of people are in this business. They have a set it and forget it. I did my job. I listed the item. I let it sit out there just in oblivion until it sells. And that's the wrong mindset too. You got to be doing all the little things unless you're just killing it. And then even then, I think you need to be doing all the little things. Let's see. LSGS Rob, changing from same to 1 day or vice versa won't make a difference. Just went back to 1 day and my sales are still great. And that's what everyone told me. And I listened, and we're in Q4. My sales didn't dip all that much. And sometimes if we make a change during a busy season anyway, you're not going to see that big of a dip until sales really start to slow, which is historically February, or past February, but it hit me the beginning of the year, and I just couldn't put my finger on it. For me and what I do, I'm telling you, I look at all these, my traffic's been up. My traffic's gone up 20%. I've done nothing over the last week differently than change my handling time to same day. And I went in and tweaked it. So same day means 9 a.m. So if it get a sale at 9:01, I think I got a sale here. Not sure. On Mercari. I'm not sure. Anyway, if I get a sale after 9:01 a.m., guess what? It's going out tomorrow. And that's all the algorithm seems to want from me. So maybe it's just a John thing, but for any of you who are struggling, maybe trying looking for different things to do that may help you get an extra sale or two, and you have the time, maybe you do this full time, especially if you do this full time, give it a try. That's all I'm saying. Savage Pickers is great advice, John. Definitely going to try it because I'm already doing one day, and most times I send out same day anyway. Post office is 2 blocks from my house. I mean, if that time, for most people, time is the problem. If I work a 9 to 5, ain't no way I'm getting same day done. I understand that. But if you have the time, if you're doing it anyway, if eBay says ship it out by tomorrow and you're still shipping it out by today, then why wouldn't you have same day? eBay utilizes your zip code, where where you're at for that buyer who's, let's say they're on one side of the country, you're on the other. Well, eBay's considering all that shipping time, the time it takes for that item based on the service you've selected in your policies. They're looking at that information to determine. That's why they can tell a buyer who's looking at your item, this is projected to arrive between this date and that date. Well, if I have today same day shipping and the next guy who lives down the street has 1 day, even 3 day, that number is going to be figured in the total time it takes to get to that buyer. And I really think eBay wants sellers to get that stuff out as soon as possible. They really don't want you waiting 3 days. But eBay, they allow you to be flexible with your policies to adapt to whatever life you have going on, because as much as we think sometimes eBay doesn't care about us, I think that a lot. I got to tell you that they are at least flexible and give us the ability to set our own handling times. So make it work around your life, but the shortest period of time that you could set for your handling, I'm starting to be convinced things are a lot better than they were a week ago. And even before that, I mean, I'm talking sad. I'm looking at it right now. The end part of September was just sad. And I made this change back on Tuesday, and I've had good days every day with the same crap that I've been listing and had in my store. So, take my experience and, either pitch it out the window and just keep doing what you do, or give it a shot. Scott says, thanks. I've always wondered about that. No, I've never tried the scan sheet, but I need to give it a shot. So someone's dealing with the scan sheet. So I apologize for that. That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. Raining Retro, North Carolina, back after a 2-week vacation, catching COVID at the end. But managed to still ship out 28 items a day. Never did more than 12 in 1 day before. So that's a good, well, the COVID ain't good, but at least the fact that you're dealing with more sales, and hopefully it's going to be a little bit better here on out, Q4 kicking in and, getting more sales. But I'm just kind of wondering, a lot of those toys that I bought, crickets. So I'm hoping that, I priced it pretty competitively. So I don't know what's going on there. So hopefully that'll kick in here pretty soon. Top the Flip says, not top seller will do free shipping. Someone has to pay for it. Will not do free shipping. So it depends on what you're selling. And, you got to go by the old adage, there's no free lunch. There's not. Someone does have to pay for it, but you can build it into the price of your item. But I'm very careful. If the item is heavy, over 2 pounds, I'm not even considering it. I'm charging that buyer shipping, and I am going to be able to refund that buyer if they send it back, less the cost of shipping. No Agenda 77. John is going to have a lot of comments to go through tonight. Yes, I think I will. And I try not to talk about the whole political thing, but you know what? I think we do ourselves sometimes a disservice by choosing to ignore a lot of things that do affect resellers, and the political thing and all the crap that goes on in Washington, D.C. by all the parties that are involved. There's no innocent parties that are involved over there, and they all contribute to the crap. And I'm talking about the bad economy, just the crap that we're dealing with. I mean, anyone who really believes that we're at 8% inflation is drinking too much Kool-Aid. Okay, it's a lot higher than that, and it's hurting our sales. And unless you're not serious about reselling, it's a thing, and it's affecting you as a seller. You got to know that. Aunt Thelma's inability to pay for her car is affecting her ability to buy whatever pair of jeans you're trying to sell her when she logs onto eBay. She's going to think twice about buying that want item because she can't even pay for her need items. So you got to be in tune with what's going on around you as a reseller. Otherwise, I mean, you got to have an understanding of how the world is. And right now, the economy ain't very good. I'll just leave it at that. Jimmy D says, smash the like button. I'd appreciate that. Noah Design says, even a dead horse would listen after 2 beatings. I agree. Lori Basharis has finally made a live show. Lori, thanks for hanging out with us. I appreciate that. Backyard Mowing says, it's all about the right inventory. That is so true. Even the worst reseller can sell AirPods and iPhones. I'm telling you that right now. Noah Design says, hit the like, guys, because it's pink. I think this is kind of what the NFL does, right? In October, they all wear pink in their uniforms. So I try to put a different color out there, be a little colorful and change it up if possible. Deportes en el Recuerdo says, what do you think about the new Nike policy not to resellers now that eBay has spent all the money with the the whole authenticity guarantee? Well, I guess if you have other brands, it's still fine. But I think it's going to be something that is not going to be isolated to Nike. And a lot of other companies are going to see the effects of this. They don't want all their shoes out up on eBay. They want authorized resellers, right? If they've authorized that reseller to sell the shoe, but they don't want all this unauthorized stuff to be resold, and they're cracking down. Let's see. Top the flip side. Enjoy listening to you. Continue. Yes, we will continue. Right now it is we're an hour 7 in, and I don't have any shipping to take. I do have my bowling league tonight. My 2 hours that I take to get away from things, so that's still going to happen. But as long as we finish up in the next 20 minutes, I'm all good. Let's see. Victor Wawiorka says, hey, thanks for hanging out with us today, Victor. Process is 11 p.m. for us in the UK, and I would still be up. Luke R says, flipping ain't cheesy. It ain't cheesy, and it ain't easy. I tell you that. Deportes says, sorry, I keep pressing the wrong button. Don't do that. Sawtooth Outpost says, I seem to always be working on eBay when you go live. I seem to work all the time, though. Yeah, ain't that the thing? I work some days 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. I allow those distractions to cut into my day. And that's just being real with you guys. You know, things happen, get phone calls, friends call on the phone, and Jenna's like, get off the phone. You know, that's why you don't get anything done, because she wants me to get done in a decent hour. But you know, that's just a leak that I have in my game sometimes. Fisher Flips, finally able to get to a live show. Thank you for hanging out with us, Fisher. That's awesome. Picky Ricky says 6 sales a day. Best one was just $11.99. They're buying all the cheap stuff for most of October so far, but at least you're improving your sale through rate on your store, so that's awesome. You know, find, and this is kind of rich coming from me, but find opportunities to source higher value items. That's my thing right now. Raining Net Retro North Carolina just came back from 2 weeks time away. Tire store on promoted plus 2 to 3 sales days entire time. New listings every day. Google organic traffic was the same. Promoted crashed to almost nothing. And love to know what you're reselling. Raining says, I'm disconnected. What's the new Nike policy? That they're basically going in and anyone who's reselling, and I think it's just to new shoes, reselling Nike shoes are going to be probably zeroed or taken down, that type of thing. So just be very, very careful if you have Nike shoes. You know, nothing has been received by eBay. If you've not been zeroed before, give it a shot. Keep listing it, right, until you're told otherwise. But don't be surprised if that stuff is going to be taken down. Ping G says, I just started promoting listings back in September. Most of my sales have been via promoted, just 3%, and I'm happy. I think about 60%. If you're keeping track on a spreadsheet or whatever means to keep track of what you're paying for promoted rates over and above your final value fees, you'll see a trend. And it's usually, for me, I'm anywhere from 3% to what the recommended rate is. And I'm at about 60% of my listings I'm being charged a promoted rate for. So even though I have those listings set with a promoted rate, they're still organically being sold on eBay without charging me the fee. Let's see. Froster says, I sold a 17-pound Halloween costume to a buyer in New York. Blew my mind. Like, can't they buy there cheaper? Was through GSP. That's awesome. And speaking of Halloween costumes, I had mentioned last week, last Monday, I think, hey guys, I got some nun outfits. And wouldn't you know it, that evening I had a sale for a nun outfit. And a couple days later, my other one sold. So thank you guys. If you guys are watching and decided to be a nun for Halloween, thank you. And I hope you guys received it in okay fashion. And I'm confident it was a sale because of that video. I returned an expensive item back to Home Depot for a returns pallet, exchanged it for a brand new sealed item, $300 value. So, wow. Okay. And it could have been, so I'm not gonna chime in on that, except for the fact that it could have been one of those items. I've had a Home Depot pallet before. I've had a similar situation like that before. I think it's Gorilla brand, or maybe no. Husky is one of the Home Depot brands, and I think some of their tools have a lifetime warranty, no questions asked type of thing, where they won't ask you for a receipt at all, which is really, really, really crazy, I think. Skip ahead a little bit. I list every day faithfully, and I check my I can't speak English. I really need to do a highlight blooper reel. You guys would love it because I make so many gaffes when I'm reading stuff and speaking in front of a camera. But I list every day faithfully, and I check my competitors' prices every day, and then I drop my price by $1 or $2 to beat them. I sell toys and collectibles. But no matter what you do, you're making a profit. You're making it work. That's the thing. LSGS Rob says, your sales will always be up and down. The problem is that too many sellers sell stuff that people don't want and or have horrible listings. Having a fully optimized listing is important as your item. I agree, it has a very huge importance. I don't know if it's as important as the item. Tommy once said on here that try selling an iPhone and put out a bad listing and see how fast it's going to sell. It's going to sell very, very quickly. Let's see what else we got here. I'm just trying to skip ahead here because I'm so far behind you guys, and I apologize for that. One of the things I really need to work on, but again, I get so involved into answering your questions, or at least telling you guys about what I'm dealing with. Raining Retro says 12K sales year to date, promoted listing sales with 1,000 in extra fees. Would prefer not to spend the extra 1,000, but like the extra sales more than I dislike the fees. You got to decide, what is it that you want? You want to build a store? You want to keep building your store? Have that 5,000-10,000 item store and you're making the same sales? Or do you want to be like me? It's like, man, my store is shrinking. Now, I'm not saying that, everything's perfect here, but I think I'd rather say my store is shrinking and that's a challenge than to say, man, I'm heading towards 2,000. Let's see if I can get to 3. I think that's the wrong mindset. We want to build value in our stores and get that item sold as quickly as possible. Let's see. Biff Boffo says, I sell in collectibles and I plan on having a better year than last year. I think people are willing to stretch some life out of their shoes and clothes when time gets tight, or in this case, money gets tight, I guess, right? But, collectibles, my other account is a bunch of collectible stuff, and I'm selling here and there. It ain't like this account at all. And it makes me see that there is definitely a downturn in the market when it comes to the wants, right? And a collectible is a want. Most people, they don't buy a collectible because they need it. They buy it because they want it. And when money is tight, those people who would really like to have it can't afford it and they ain't buying it. So, if you're happy with your sales, continue selling your collectibles. But I got to say, if you're trying to do this for a living, maybe make a different account, make a secondary account. start selling the stuff that people need and are going to gravitate to when times are hard, because that's going to help you get more sales than selling things that people want, at least for right now. Let's see. Chucky says, only way Amazon has traffic is because people use gift cards. Amazon is overpriced compared to eBay. In a lot of cases, they're overpriced compared to eBay, but you have a lot of drop shippers that are taking those Amazon items, adding 5 to 10% of the Amazon price and passing them on to eBay buyers that we're competing against. Picky Ricky says, best sale of the month was a 1976 calculator, paid $2 or £2, and I sold for 100 pounds to a guy in Norway. That's awesome. That's really awesome. Just sold that, like I said, that dog door. Bought it for 20, sold it for 85 plus shipping. And I'm very happy to do that after fees. It's a 3.5x flip and couldn't be happier. Picky Ricky says I'm up 300% from last year's lockdowns that cleared out my store. So that's good that you're doing well. Top the Flip says Goodwill stores near us have been super crowded the last couple of weeks. Yeah. They're expensive though. I used to go, someone gave me a good tip to go there. I was buying stuff for Goodwill and it was okay. But I haven't gone back in a while. I'm really loving the yard sales though. I really like that. And it's really been supplementing the stuff I'm not able to find that I'm normally used to finding online. Shane Dillon says, what do you think about promoting at a higher level instead of lowering prices? I think that promoting at a higher level allows you to maybe in some case raise your prices a little bit. I know that there's people who will raise their prices like $1 and promote it like an extra 5 to 10%. And because you're going to get more views. Now, is your price going to be a problem if you raise it a little bit? Maybe. That's why it's so important to know how much are you into that. How much are you into that item for? If I'm into it for $2, I have it for 25. I can bring it down to like 10 to 15 bucks plus the cost of shipping, and I'm going to be good. Or I can leave the price the same where the market is, jack up the promoted rate, and it's going to have a better chance of selling. Chucky says the problem is you got to know what are hot items to sell and hope it's not many comps. The comps are reducing the price you can get for items. An item that sold for 50, a comp has for 35 and keeps lower. Well, it's just basically simple. It's not enough to look at the comps and say, oh, this item is in green. It sold for 50. This other item sold for 35. This one sold for 40. So if I'm buying it for 5 or 10, I should be able to make a 2-3x flip. And if we just leave it at there and don't look at the other side of the story, what's the competition look like? So maybe this item sold 10 times in the last 90 days and you see all these wonderful looking comps, but then you go and flip it over to what's being sold currently and you see that you're up against 100 listings. So that may or may not be a good item. It would be an item I wouldn't expect to sell very fast. May buy it because it, may end up, is it worth the 10x flip to just sit in my store for a month? Maybe. So I might buy it. But, if you're looking to sell stuff that has high competition, it better be a hot item. Otherwise, it's going to sit for a while. Process is I run my own construction business and do eBay at night. Okay. So you don't go to bed till like 2 or 3 in the morning. That's awesome. You're falling back. This is, what slow sales you encounter on eBay isn't going to kill you. Aunt Weiss is only making like 15 to 20 items a week, but my average item is probably like $100. So that's awesome. Thrift Gorilla says having sales down just motivates me that much more to work harder and succeed more. Never want to work for anyone but myself. It's also good to have an alternative income channel to account for downturns. I agree. And I'm not above and beyond that myself, but I'm not working for anyone again. The Tommy Bernard podcast says I've changed my entire business model 5 times. Keep doing the same thing and get the same results. I'm always looking for the next chapter because the niche I am can be gone tomorrow. That guy who sells you all those shoes, Tommy, one day can maybe, not be here tomorrow, and I don't wish anything bad on anyone, but you never know. And then unless you have, another 2 or 3 different channels to find all that merchandise, you're now scrambling to get that sourcing. And it's key. I mean, if you got a good source like that, you need to take care of him or her and just, take him out to dinner, when you see him next time or whatever, and just keep that going, because that's definitely the thing that resellers need to establish is that relationship with whoever's selling them their merchandise. And I'm still hunting for that. Eddie says, my honey hole must have been leaked on social media. Resellers left and right, inexperienced using their phones on every piece of clothing. This is just going to hurt my sourcing for sure. Well, care to share what that is? I won't tell anyone. But no, that does happen. Sometimes I did do a video about a year and a half ago about my Costco B-stock pallet. And I couldn't buy a B-stock pallet again, at least at the price point that I need to be at. Tommy Bernard says, eBay is extremely easy. Want to make $1,500 a day, list more than $1,500 a day of selling items every day. Exactly. It's in the value. What value you get put into your store, you will get out of your store, but you got to put the value in there. Well, James, there's some things with eBay that are just facts we can't argue with. So there's a little sidebar going on, but yeah, eBay will tell you if you're doing the right thing by just the results you get. You won't get it back until next evaluation regardless, especially if it's metrics related. So yeah, keep doing whatever you were doing to get out of that rut, that, that negative. If you're below standard, it's going to suck. You're going to be paying an extra 6% in final value fees, but you got to work your way through it. And then Tommy says, account health controls the throttle. You want 100% metrics all the time. Keep getting more traffic. Yes, you want that account health to be as high as you can. And then we got Biscuit Butt in the house. What's up, Tom Bernard podcast? No One Design. Okay, so he's doing his thing. Sick as a dog. Wondering why you haven't called me today. So hopefully you get better. Kid Wilson says, USPS raised their rates for the holiday already, and I have people messaging me about high shipping all day long. I use the exact width of the package and send in a poly mailer. Go to your account settings. Go in, adjust your business policies to allow for the same discount. Now, some people argue about this, but I changed it to where whatever price I'm paying for that eBay label, the buyer's paying for it. Now, you can add $1 or $2 in your handling cost to maybe offset the eBay fees that eBay's charging you for that. But you'll notice that in most cases, especially if you're shipping larger items, it's going to give that buyer a little bit better price. Let's see. Tiffany says, I usually always charge for shipping unless my competitors show free shipping. Then I may change the free shipping so as long as there's still profit there. And remember, a lot of times we talk about just the best match search. There's another element to it. There are some buyers that know how to work a search filter, and they will utilize the lowest plus shipping. So even if you're charging shipping, if you're pricing it to where you're competitive with your, those free shipping sellers, if your item is priced lower with shipping than their, full price free shipped item, you're still going to appear higher than they will in search, if that makes sense. Tommy says, calculated as junk. Learn what it costs and charge flat rate shipping. I like calculated, and only because I have it set to give what I pay. I think it's going to give that buyer a really high label price. There's a lot of people are happy with pocketing the additional amount that over and above what the buyer pays. I don't do that. I just simply charge what it's going to cost me to ship it to them. I don't want to get burned. I don't want to send it to Puerto Rico by accident, and now I'm into that label for $5 to $10 more than what I charge that buyer. That's why I use calculated. Kid Wilson says, eBay sides with buyers, and if you have the shipping and no returns, eBay can still force you to pay both ways and return a buyer. You can get burned. But you know what? There's a lot of stores in the mall that get burned, shoplifters, things like that. Again, it's kind of like shoplifting when someone goes in and they find a way to keep your item and get a refund. But it's the cost of doing business. And we have to just know that it's the cost of doing business. We have to accept that. And you know what? You'll be able to write that off at the end of the year anyway. It'll be incorporated into all the fees you've paid eBay. So don't let it bring you down and get you down on reselling. Let's see. Tommy says, I can understand big, heavy UPS items doing calculated, and that keep complaining about sales. Yeah, it's like a lot of times, if I have a 2-pound item, I will just put $9.99. I won't even bother with calculated. I'll just do $9.99. And sometimes it'll cost me an extra dollar, right? But if it's over 2 pounds, if it's 3 pounds, it's calculated all day long for me. That's just the way I roll. Let's see. Biscuit Butt never makes a decision based on potential scammers, etc. It's going to happen, guys. You're going to get scammed. Just wait for it. It's going to happen. And if the idea of being scammed bothers you enough now before it actually happens, then you're in the wrong business. Just know, even that $100, $200, $300, $400 item or more. I almost got scammed out of a $1,200 switch that someone tried to scam me on a couple years ago. It worked out, guys. And I didn't allow that to prevent me from listing the next $1,000 item. I had a $1,000 Sony camera lens that I sold that got in liquidation, and that transaction went smooth. So most people are honest. Don't be afraid of scammers. They're going to happen. eBay gives you the tools to try to combat them a little bit by way of the chargeback, by way of course, fighting the chargeback and or the refund tool, that type of thing. But don't let scammers stop you from reselling. That's the worst thing, worst mindset. It's called monsters under your bed. Like so worried that, oh no, if I sell this item for $200, even though I bought it for 20, I get scammed. Guys, you're into it for 20. If you get scammed, you lost 20 bucks. It's not going to affect your entire year. Let's see. Tiffany M. Law says, thank you for being generous with your knowledge on reselling. I really appreciate you. You're welcome, Tiffany. Like I've said many times, I don't know everything. I just report to you guys what I do, what works for me, what's working for me. It got me fired up, excited to share it with you guys. If you guys want to keep doing 5-day handling, then do 5-day handling. If you're happy with what you're doing, why change it? Why listen to some yahoo like me that's going to tell you to, change it to same day when you're happy with what you're doing already? There's many, many people out there who aren't happy with what they're doing. They're not happy with the results. And those people should all be looking at different ways to change their business model until they find something that gets them to a place where at least things are better. Biscuit says, you're going to always price a cost out of marketing for shipping, or probably says cost of market for shipping. You don't find a happy medium. Tommy spends $9.05 per package on average for the year. We have data. I can charge $9.99 and win some, lose some. Yeah. And if you're consistent about the type of item you're selling, then you're going to have consistent items that you're going to be shipping. A lot of the shoes that Tommy sells, I'm guaranteeing you, if he charges $9.99, he's making $1.50. All he has to do is put them into a padded flat rate USPS envelope. And, you're talking loose shoes. Maybe they're under I think size 8 or lower. Those should fit just fine in a padded USPS envelope. And he's going to only pay $8.30, even though he charged $9.99. So if on the back end, he has a pair of boots that he paid $12 for, well, it's not going to hurt so bad because he made money on the other deal. Beto Kick says, enjoy watching your lives, mostly sale sneakers on my eBay. So let's see how this goes. Yes, I'd love to know how it goes. Comment in the comment later on down the road. Let's see if, you're affected by this. Yep. Some people do run their eBay channel their eBay store like a dog walking business. They take a walk around the block. Maybe they pick up a little poop here and there. They throw it away. They return back the dog to their owner and think that they're done for the day when they have a lot of stuff that eBay's asking them to do. Let's see. My boring reseller life says, also, I do not worry about when the item will sell. If it does not sell tomorrow, that'll sell next week or next month or next year. Costs me no money. That's my model that works for me, but it works for you. And so, everything that I say to do, or Tommy says to do, or Archie says to do, or Noah Design may recommend to do is working for them. They have a different storage model. So they have a different setup for storage than you do. They may have a different inventory model and system to keep track of their storage. They have a different cost of goods. They have a different everything. They've got different bills. Their bills for the month might be $2,000, $3,000. Your might be $8,000. So, the idea that we're up here comparing ourselves to this YouTuber here, that YouTuber there. Oh, I'm not putting out the 50 a day like they're saying to do. All this craziness. And then we think we're a failure. But at the end of the day, are you paying your bills? Are you pleased with what you're doing? Does it give you extra money to do what you were looking to do? A lot of people do this to supplement the income that they're already getting. Maybe they already have, maybe they're retired. I meet a lot of retired people who do this stuff, right? Is it doing what you want it to do? Is it supplementing that income? And if it is, so yeah, you're trying to get better. I understand, but don't let it turn you off of reselling, and don't try all these things that I'm asking you to do if you're already killing it. And, someone might have ideas. That's just an idea I had for the day. It's working for me. Maybe some of these other people that are killing it, maybe they want to share, maybe they don't. But I'm willing to bet if they shared a lot of the stuff that they did, either it would apply and you'd be killing it, or it may not apply to your situation. You might not even have a warehouse. I don't have a warehouse. So someone that has a warehouse that's killing it, I can't do what they do. So just do what works for you. Integrate little things here and there from this channel, from this channel, from that channel. And if it works out, awesome. If it doesn't, try something new. Sean Krisky says, one thing I found out is if your item sells, even if you do a high promotion, eBay will keep that fee if the buyer cancels, but on you, there's still no way to get the promotion feedback after that. Who's James? I keep seeing the reference to James, so maybe I'm just not. I can't get into the sidebars, guys. Otherwise, I would know who James is. But I really just am trying to get to some questions here, so I apologize. Tommy says, you should have My Boring Reseller Life on since you want guests. One of the best interviews I've had to date, 21 years of eBay knowledge. Oh, awesome. Thanks for the recommendation. So My Boring Reseller Life, if you want to contact me, flippitainteasy2020 at gmail.com. Definitely would be interested in having you as a guest on either a Monday or Friday evening live. That'd be awesome. If it flips, it ships. 101, I need a printer, but don't have the extra cash. The post office gets happy when they see me coming. I guess I should hook up a regular printer. Yes, you got to get those eBay discounted labels, or at the very least, the pirate ship prices. Don't pay full retail for your shipping labels. Don't do it. It's going to eat into your profits. Kay in Maine says, this conversation is so informative. Thanks. Well, thanks for tuning in, Kay. Certainly appreciate you. And over 150, I think that's the most we've had in a long time watching the program. Hour and 32 in, and it feels like I've been talking for 5 minutes. So Michael Williams says, what's a good site to sell on? Start off with eBay. And then once you get eBay down, get a good feel for eBay, and you start accumulating stuff and you just can't get the sales you want, then get over to other sites. Kid Wilson says, quality over quantity, I have found. Yes, I think so. If you can find a bunch of older, I found a Galaxy S10, had a cracked screen. Bought it for $10. Was it 10 or 20? One of those two. Sold it for 100, and that was from a yard sale. Thing worked great. I'm sure they got it by now. They would have been hollering at me if it didn't work the way they expected it to. So we'll see. Maybe they're renting it for a month. They're going to contact me in a month. But until that happens, I'm assuming it's a good sale, and I'm happy for the flip. So quality over quantity, I think, is definitely a good adage. Kid Wilson says, hit that like button, y'all. We were down from 162 to 151, but that's still pretty strong. Let's see. And No One Design says, is that you, Harry Tornado? I'd love to have that guy on the channel. Love to give that guy a chat back and forth and pick his brain. That's for sure, about YouTube and eBay. That's for sure. Etheldra Sharp says, use Q code at the post office. They print labels now. Yeah, you can do that. I just rather drop it off. I have a 99.7% on-time scan rate, just dropping the stuff off. So it works for me. Michael says, first time here. Well, if it's your first time, hit the like and the subscribe. I'd appreciate that. Someone just rips me off on eBay over $200 question, though eBay has a hold for $218 and the buyer still has to return the item. What I have to do to get that release. Thank you. Great channel. Well, thank you, Waylon. Well, first of all, you're not out $218. You're going to be out of maybe the cost you pay for the label. If you're on top of it, accept the return. Pay for the return label if you offer free returns, or if they file a 9 ad, even if you don't agree with the reason why they are returning the item. Get your side of it done. So if eBay in your summary says you have a return request to handle, get on it, process it. When the item comes, take time to look it over, right? Take a 5, 10, 15 minutes to make sure everything works right, looks right, is in the same condition. Then go in and process the refund. Do everything that eBay asks you to within the time period they're asking you to do it, and you're not going to get scammed. It's the people that fail to do that. And this is what buyers hope that you're going to do. You're going to drop the ball and you're going to let it time out, and they're going to get their money back and keep the item. So get that item back. If it comes back in a different condition or broken or whatever, that's a totally different story. And you can handle that, in a number of ways, but at least get that item back in your hands. That's the key thing. And then that money will be released once you process the refund. Process says, how's the shoe selling for me? I've sold 3 pairs already. And you know what? It is what it is. I didn't expect these things to go flying off the shelf, but my toys haven't sold yet. I expected the toys to sell before the shoes did. So I'm doing well with my sales. Not much of what I bought in that $600, 3 pallets of $600 have sold. I'm still optimistic, and I'm going to be on top of it, send a lot of that stuff into Amazon and to get it out of my hair, clear the space. I want more stuff. So I'll let Amazon give me $350 a pop for these things after it's all said and done. And it's all good. Now I'm willing to bet my dogs are going crazy out here, and I'm willing to bet that the carrier is coming to the door, probably the replacement carrier. And I'm glad I took it in, because I have no bag. I had a ton of, probably enough to fill up 2 Santa bags. I call them Santa bags, full of product to ship. And without it, they'd have been like, what do I do with this? I don't have a crate or a bag to put them in. So I saved them a lot of headache. PNG says, do you have a store subscription? Yes, I do have a store subscription. And I think if you have over 100 items, it's probably a good idea. And Ping's probably asking somebody else that's in the chat. So it's probably I'm sure you already know I have a store subscription. You have the coupon and the markdown sale ability that you don't have without the store. Kristen Sotelo says, I bought my fall work clothes and shoes on eBay. I would rather give a fellow seller than a corporate store, all pre-owned and happy. And that's the thing. If you're happy with the items you buy, your store performance, with the shoes you buy, whatever it is, if it meets your needs, it makes no sense to go to a Best Buy or to Macy's and pay full price when those items can be bought at a fraction of a cost. And that's sort of what many of us do. I mean, if you're selling something that's used, you're not going to get full retail. And I think, if we're into an item for $1 or $2, we're happy with that. And there is a definite market on eBay for the used items, for the shelf pulls. And I think there always will be. But these brands like Nike and other brands that may follow in their footsteps are going to make that tough. I mean, the flipping ain't easy. It ain't going to get any easier when brands like this do that. And with the economy, we get past this bad economy, regardless of what side you're on and who you vote for and who you rah for. I don't care about that. I'm caring about the economy. How do we get this thing back to where it was, to where we can make money, we can thrive? 2019, I was kicking butt. I had $25,000 months. I ain't even close to that now. How do I get back to that? I know the economy is part of the equation, and all these factors are out of our control. You just got to do what you can, like the little changes that I've done to my account, to your listings. Maybe own up to the fact that you don't have the best merchandise. Maybe the stuff you have suck. Just be real. You're selling crap. I'm selling crap, but I'm making the crap work, right? You need to make the crap work. These are all things you have to figure out, but yet it's just 1,000 examples of how flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have an excellent start to your week. And you will hear back from me here with the video very soon. Take care, everyone.